Alright, we'll try again. Let's see what happens. Looks like it's going. See, I'm getting... Yeah, I'm not good at this. This is not for me. I'm supposed to edit videos. I don't really stream. So, I know my voice is going through. I just can't tell if it's not echoing. No echo. Oh, good. I got it in my headphones, but I'll just take my... What's up? What's up, excellent taco? That actually sounds pretty good. All right, so we don't have an echo. What I wanted to do, and I still haven't told the people on Facebook to come join. I was thinking, well, I'll start this at 7 o'clock. And it's 7:11. I'm going to bump this thing on my Facebook. I'm going to share it again. Attempting a stream over on YouTube. FYI. Thursday. What is today? 11:20? 11:20, 7 p.m. Recycle right for tomorrow. Okay. So, I'm going to assume some of you got Recology, Chaser, Recycling right for tomorrow. You've probably been seeing some of the most recent stuff with that demo I did with the zero radius. Let's see. I'm doing all right. You should go back to your old POV where the camera's in the cab and talking, looking out the window in the back. Okay. Yeah, we've seen it. Very cool truck. Appreciate the feedback. I got too much screen space. I feel like I'm always looking over here instead of like at the people watching. So when you say you want to see old POV stuff, like I'll do that. I shot some of that this week. I'm always trying to mix up a little bit different every week. I don't always successfully do it because it is kind of taxing when you're trying to reinvent the wheel. You'll probably have noticed. Maybe I'll push a little bit over on long form a little bit, and then what I discuss in long form might change a little bit. The demo truck was kind of serendipitous, where we're in the market for a truck for a side load. We'd like something that would work well in an alleyway, such as zero res. Let's see if we can bring up a sample of that. But you guys, if you've been watching my content, you saw a lot of that video. Actually, I got it in my timeline too. This was a real simple timeline to work with when I was editing the zero red. The one area where I had to do a little tighter editing was, this was the video 2. Oh, and I lost my display. Perfect. Good evening, Joe. It's a cool truck. Peterbilt, I think. Yeah, it was Peterbilt. We run an auto car for that new way that I'm normally in. Yeah, Candy Cane ZR, that's kind of interchangeable, same thing. But it's a Mead 1708. I was kind of answering that question where I do plan to have more content where it's up in the window or in the cab, and I can choose whether the camera is looking outside or at me or up at the hopper camera or the monitor for the hopper camera. And what I've been trying to do a little bit different is keeping a camera up in the hopper that I can remotely or wirelessly tell it to record. I got a smaller 360 camera that if I lose it, it's not great, but it's not the end of the world. It's the cheaper one. And the thing with that, though, is it goes through lens covers like crazy. There's so much dust and debris. there's constantly having to clean off that lens protector, and they get torn up pretty quick. They don't last very long, and they're not terribly expensive. It's like $20 every time I replace it, but you know, to leave it up there all day, the lifespan's not that great. Or you just allow for lesser quality. I haven't tried the Python yet. I've seen videos, and I think with the Python, the arm is somewhat offset. And I had a hard time trying to explain this. Like when Mitchell and I were talking about different trucks and different styles, and for whatever reason, I had a hard time figuring out the words to explain that. You know, we have a Bridgeport and the New Way, and the New Way, the rail that extends the arm out, and the fingers or the grips are all in line. So when they go away from the truck, you don't have to worry about one being offset from the other. And I think the Python's a lot like the Bridgeport, where the rail that sends the arm out is over here, and then the arm or the fingers, the grips are offset. And so when they go out, this can hit something and that can hit something. And I feel like there's more risk of taking out mailboxes or bumpers with that style. An electric autocar ACX revamp looks almost exactly like New Way body. Yeah, I think every industry or every truck manufacturer has got some sort of electric truck either being designed or already going out. I think they all kind of see the writing on the wall that in the near future there's going to be more regulations, more mandates to have cleaner vehicles. In California, I don't know how much, if it's like I remember way back hearing stories about California and Texas, and this is not the perfect analogy, but California and Texas are essentially the two states that dictate how school textbooks are written or what goes in those textbooks, because they're the two largest markets. And I don't know if that's true with like something like garbage trucks. Like everybody wants to be able to sell their trucks in California, given the size of the state, and California has the most strict emissions goals or standards or objectives in the near future. So I don't know how much that analogy works between textbooks and electric trucks. I imagine if I delve deeper, there's probably some correlate or some similarities to those two scenarios, where California sets a rule that if you want to sell garbage trucks here, manufacturers will adapt, and then all the other states will probably similarly, have access to these trucks. But there's a whole logistical issue, and I'm not an engineer, I'm not a civil engineer or electrical engineer. The one concern I've heard is, the grid can support, at the end of the day, everyone plugs in these massive commercial trucks to recharge them overnight. Can the grid support that sort of like amperage going through the system? Don't know. That's just not my expertise. All right, so, yep, everything has to be certified clean idle. CNG as well. Okay, we have an electric battle where I work. It spent more time at the dealership actually en route. Also has about a 6-hour battery life. I test drove a electric battle when we went to the New Way factory. So New Way didn't build the truck, obviously. Battle Motors sent the electric chassis to them, and they put their New Way rear loaders on them. And, they're fun to drive around the parking lot, but I don't know, like you described, they might advertise, oh, these things can go 8 or 10 hours, but when they're actually in real world use, do they get less? Now, the guy that I want to talk to that test drove a McNeilus Volterra, like the all-electric truck, so McNeilus built both the truck and the trash body. So that's where I want to know a whole bunch about that. Where I have a whole bunch of questions, and I need to message this guy back and set up a time to talk to him on camera, because he'd be able to tell me about, everything from the driver's perspective. Obviously, with a truck, whether a truck's good or bad, it's like, who are you talking to? Are you talking to the person who purchased the truck, like a manager or owner, or are you talking to a mechanic that has to work on it, or a driver that has to use it? And it's all different. Day one, there's some trucks that will probably make really good day one impressions, but a lot like relationships, what's that going to look like 5 years from now? Once you get over the honeymoon phase and then you're in the maintenance phase, what are you going to figure out about this truck or person that you're like, oh, for the long term, like, this is going to be a work, right? And how much work? Yeah, let's see. There's a bunch of garbage truck filmers out there like myself who know so much about the trucks. We're also a great resource. I believe it. Yeah, I don't pretend to tell people that I know everything. What I've done well, and maybe I should be. I wonder how I can get. I want these comments. Like, I don't want to show you my studio app, but I need to get these comments over somewhere else where we all can see them, because I'm not seeing the comments show up. I'm going to have to figure out a different way to stream next time. What I've done well, I think, is giving drivers perspective and reaction to stuff. And I can edit a video decently well. And I figured out a way to grab a lot of shots throughout the day without having to like waste time messing with the camera. Like, once I get in a truck, it doesn't take long for me to have cameras set up where everything's just either verbally telling a camera to turn on or just pushing one button and capturing that moment with good video and good audio. And anything that I don't do well in the moment, with a 360 camera, you can fix it in post-production because you can choose camera angles and all that stuff. So I figured out a way to do decent trash content, and I had a pretty rapid rise my first year, and it stagnated. So that's why you're seeing me kind of experiment with different stuff. It's like, all right, we'll try a little bit of this content, we'll try a little bit of that, and get a feel for, what's my audience. Like, there's some people who just like to watch garbage trucks. Some people like to see blue collar worker POV. And this last video where I was just reacting to driving a demo truck, there's a lot of people that were really interested in seeing the truck itself, like getting reactions and real footage of a truck at work, as opposed to like a promo video for a truck that is edited and shows only like the favorite moments. And I try not to do that. Like, I try not to like edit everything to make it look better than it is. I really should get these comments into the let's see if I can do that. I think I can get the comments over on display so you guys can see it too. Let's see. I think that's working. It's not. It's kind of sloppy. Someone says they're using Labreeze. I see a lot of those. Look a lot like New Ways. It's very easy to confuse the two. Just rather stay in diesel. I get that. If I'm being honest, there's a bunch of garbage trucks out there. Diesel, archaeology, no, very far north. Diesel is better. Oh, so Soda King Killer actually drove a Volterra about a month ago as a demo. That one started at 100% charged, and by the end of the day, it was 60%. So, you're not the same guy that messaged us through Instagram. No, that was a guy named Western Turkey, I think. Something like that. Yeah, different guy. So, I should probably reach out to you. Just a coincidence. All right. Yeah, you should probably, maybe you should message me through Instagram as well if you're interested. Oh, Western Turkey's here. There he is. Okay. Sorry, dude, I haven't messaged you back through Instagram. Sorry. I've yeah, Soda King find me on Instagram. I I've torn apart my office, and so like everything's kind of like on a whim. I can shoot stuff in the truck in mass quantities, get it back and logged. Because I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you guys what I do. This here. Let's see. I'm going to see where can I put this. This is how I log all the clips. So what I do is dump everything over, and I'm getting a little bit more sophisticated with my system, where it'll have a date and the type of camera that was shot, and the video file number, what truck body it was in. So this was AC as auto car, and where I had it mounted. So I had it mounted in the cab. And then I'll tag something when if I grab something outside of a cart and successfully grabbed it. I don't have a lot of fails. There's one here, got one. And then there's a time code for how long it's recorded. And then I'll try to pair them up. This is where it gets tedious, because I'll have one file that matches with a different file, and those two are the same moments but with different two separate cameras. 65% at the end of the day. Yeah, it is a lot of rows. So last year, I think I had like 1,000 separate clips. So what you're seeing when that gets posted, I'm basically shotgunning, clips throughout the day, and then picking a couple moments that I can quickly edit. Because there's some projects where I've started them and I haven't been able to finish because the editing time is so intensive. Like, if you shoot something for a minute and you got to make 12 separate cuts and tedious little changes to it, sometimes it's easier to take something straight out of the camera, key it up for 360, and then just, send it to YouTube with minimal editing. What's up, Christian? So Western Turkey's here. He has that 65%. Yeah, what I was telling you, Turkey, so I can't show it very easily. I've cleaned my entire desk off. I got to redo some wiring, and I'm using old analog stuff for the audio, which is garbage. I almost have to upgrade my mixer from an analog mixer to a digital mixer, because with this last stream that I attempted, you noticed that, the sound was all messed up, and I couldn't make sense of it. But then I've been buying computer parts. So I bought a new motherboard, new CPU, GPU, power supply, solid state drive, memory, almost everything except for the tower. And I might even go buy a tower, because I was going to reuse my old one, but I'm like, I might have to just go all new. Wonder how the battery percentage would change during winter time. I assume they do less. I used to do a lot of stuff with drones, and I remember like in the winter I'd take off with a drone, and if I thought I was going to get 15 minutes of flight time, once you got airborne, 15-minute flight time would turn into like 6 minutes real easily in extreme cold. Electric garbage trucks probably wouldn't work in northern Utah. Yeah, I don't know. We'll get some cold days in Nebraska too. Yeah. So it's tricky. Like, there's days I've started where, it registers -15. I don't know, but then there's wind chill. And they say wind chill doesn't affect equipment, which I have doubts. Like, I've had a diesel truck idling that was fine, sitting in -10 degree weather idling. Once I went down the highway, there was like no heat that was able to build up around the fuel system. The fuel system gelled up, but it was fine. It was idling. And so people say, oh, wind chill doesn't affect trucks, but I'm not an expert in that. All I know was the truck was fine until I started moving down the road. Yeah, I plug in the diesels too when it gets too cold. So I don't know if Western Turkey's still here. That McNeilis is the cab itself, the cabin, like they built both the trash body and the truck, which I thought was kind of, oh, nice. Thanks, Soda King. Um, so how was it, like, you might have told me, was the ride comfortable? I guess I could ask you too, Soda. Uh, like, what's the cab? Is it similar to anything else you've been in? Because I got the cab displayed over here. The cab is huge. Is it similar to? Let me see if I can bring up an image. I'll bring it over here. Then bring it. What is those Dennis Eagles? Is it similar to that? Those have some gnarly cabs. I'm gonna open the image in a new tab. I'm gonna have to go look that up. Recology, very comfortable. Drive Mac LR 6600s. It's got more room and more leg space. Low entry can be nice. So I drove that Battle Motors with the New Way 3.0 side load on it, or the Sidewinder 3.0. And the Battle Motors, big cab, lots of window, lots of visibility. The low entry, I didn't mind it. Like, you guys seen some of my content. There's times I do have to get out of the truck to pick up stuff outside the cart. But sometimes I liked having that higher vantage point to be able to look at my convex mirror that looked down on the carts as opposed to that's down low and looking at just one side of the cart. Oh, that's weird. The joystick. Joystick was connected to the seat, so when the seat bounced, the joystick stayed with you. When I say it's weird, I'm just saying it's unusual. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That'd actually be kind of interesting. I haven't seen the outside button feature on the Volterra. Republic Services of Phoenix, new Volterra. Okay, let's look that up. I'll try to find it. I don't know. I might just scroll through it instead of playing the video. I don't know what the rules are about playing other people's videos. But we'll take a look. Let's see. Republic Services of Phoenix. It's a long title. Alright, I think I found it. I'm going to mute it. Then we'll just kind of scroll through it together to take a look at some images. I might shrink down my... Oh, that's not the way to do it. I don't need to be that much of the screen. Yeah, I'm definitely not a professional streamer. Can operate the entire truck from outside the cab. Reloading a toter is great. Don't have to reach in and use joystick. Joystick attached to seat was different, but didn't mind it. Yeah, see, I'm 6'4", so like our auto car and New Way combo, it has the door exterior usage or the rockers, but I'm tall enough I can reach up and grab the joystick and I just run it with that. There's sometimes if I have like dirty gloves on, I'll use the rockers because I figured, I never use the rockers, so if I get some, trash juice on those, I can wash them. But I don't like to grab the joystick with gloves on. Alright, so let's scroll through this. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, looks like it is camera work could be a little better. You can tell someone's just holding their phone or camera sitting next to them and it's bouncing around. I'm really big I think what helps my videos is I use magnets to just mount those things anywhere, and then I don't touch cameras. One, for safety reasons, I just don't want people saying, "Oh, you're messing with the camera while you're operating." And then two, it's just better looking. You know, the cameras have onboard stabilization, and I don't know if I can play other people's videos. I should probably just be scrolling through. This could be done better. I'll say that. Like, it's not a bad video. Benji's Garbage Trucks. I'll subscribe. I'll give him a plug. How about that? 1,000 subs. I'll give him a little shout out. But like I said, I use magnets. I set things up. Widescreen's great. When you're in a shaky environment, a widescreen camera will help a lot with those situations. And then the 360 cameras I use have built-in stabilization, really good built-in stabilization, and that saves a lot of shots. Because this is working, but you know, like once that arm is going out and in, or the truck's moving, you'll get more camera shake. I mean, but I'm jealous. Like, this looks like a great opportunity to, you know, shoot some great content. The grippers might be tuned up a little tight. Look how that squeezes that. That's there's some cardboard in there. I don't know if that's gonna come out. Styrofoam, forget about it. It's not coming out. All right, thanks for the feedback. Anything longer than a short clip, you'll get a copyright strike, likely without permission. I mean, I can afford a strike on one of them. I'll learn. It's not like streaming's not my revenue, right? You can operate the tire truck from the outside cab, reloading. Okay, we saw that one. Voltaire kind of looks like a goofy city bus. At least Mac kept the low entry cab. Yeah, I'm not too concerned about aesthetics. You know, I'll drive a big ugly thing if it's comfortable. You can grab a can with the tip of the fingers and it'll hold on to it. That could be good and bad. How this small city runs an all-electric garbage truck fleet. I'll have to check that out later. But yeah, so what I'm trying to do, obviously I'm going to reach out to Soda King and Western Turkey through Instagram. I'll get caught up with those soon. I want to start doing more content that's just outside of the regular. A lot of people like what I already do, but the algorithm, I don't know if it's algorithm or audience, interchangeably you could say the same thing, but it's plateaued. So I'm not getting growth. And I'm not the only person to say that. I've looked at some Reddit forums where people in all sorts of niches and all sorts of content, they were all like recognizing a steady growth, and then something happened like a year or a year and a half ago, and then a lot of people's channels just went stagnant. And mine was one of them, where I had steady 3,000 followers adding per month, and then there's one month that shot up 30,000. It added 30,000 people, and then it just plateaued ever since. So the channel growth has been slow. The views have been slow. And so I'm starting to think, well, you know, do I change up some content? I've had the idea, like if I had more ad revenue, and I thought about doing merch. There's some stuff I designed, I just haven't posted. But I was like trying to think of a way, either through ad revenue or merch or something, to generate some more revenue and then travel to other locations. Because it'd be interesting, like, yeah, what I do is interesting to an extent, but to freshen up the content, and this is where I invite feedback in the comments. I'm watching the comments scroll, but if I travel to other garbage companies and rode along with other drivers, or found other new trucks out there, because not everyone's gonna get good or get out. That's actually a good idea. That's a really good idea. With like a real simple animation of a garbage truck side load, or I don't, something simple. I don't want to overdo it, because I think that's what happens with t-shirts is people put too much on it. But get good or get out is a good one. I cleared off my desk and I have no pen and paper, but I'll remember that one. So the idea is find a way to raise revenue. So the days I'm not, like, I run routes probably 3 days a week and then do some office stuff the other days. And I can maybe find some free time where, like I joked with Mitchell when we started posting content and getting some traction. I said, if we were doing $10,000 a month in ad revenue, I'm not joking, I would go to Tokyo. Like, see if I could network with someone in Tokyo and have this 6'4", 250-pound corn-fed Midwest farm boy right in the back of a little tiny Isuzu rear load in Tokyo slinging trash. I was like, that would be a hilarious video. I hate that kind of flights. I would not enjoy the travel. It would be awful. But I would do it for the gram, as the kids would say. Because I was like, it would be hilarious to see me in the work overalls throwing trash in Tokyo. That, and it astonishes me how clean it always looks. Like, they'll post videos on YouTube of how clean Tokyo looks. I wonder if someone's posted some stuff already. Let's see, Tokyo garbage. Let's take a look. Like, it always astonishes me how clean stuff can look. Well, they do have trash on the ground, though. Because I've gone on Google Street Maps and just done Street View, with the little person down on the street. And you can see, like, even when that streetcar goes by, the place looks clean. But that's a wild example. For starters, though, the idea would be, travel down the road to some place. Like, I'm in Columbus, Nebraska. Kearney, Nebraska, just further down the road from me, I know they're a city-run service where the city of Kearney pays for the trash and recycling, or it's done through the tax revenue. And I was always curious to see a city of that size do a tax-based or tax revenue operation where they service every house. And there's pros and cons. There's trade-offs to that. And I don't know if they'll have like different policies as far as trash outside the cart, or what they charge for trash outside the cart, how they manage those things, or how good the recycling is. I imagine their recycling is going to be far better than Columbus. I think that's a no-brainer based on the way we do things. But you get the idea. What I'm trying to do, or I'm thinking out loud as far as, do I need to change the content? Because there's been discussions, Mitchell and I have had discussions where it's like, maybe we just do less content. Like if it's in a slow period where it's just not a hot topic for whatever reason, just do less. We're going to be making some changes here at Sanitation that is going to definitely change some schedules and some time demands. And I'm not going to disclose what that is yet. I'll say they're somewhat big change. Universal collection contract. Residents pay through property taxes regardless if they use curbside service or not. Yeah, that's pretty common. And I could see a lot of pros, like positives, to that scenario. What's up, Trash Master? Thoughts on the candy cane versus current arm? If I was doing more alleys, that candy cane would be kind of fun to use. I got used to it pretty quick. I think within the first 20 minutes, I really wasn't hesitating. I maybe not have been full speed, but the guy that was demoing the truck, or who brought the demo, said the hydraulics had been turned down. So the demo truck isn't at like 100% full speed and capacity because they do turn all that down because they want people learning side load to have a little bit of margin of error, or just be able to take their time. So if that arm was a little faster, I mean, I'd probably be a little more sold on it. But the new way has been pretty good to us. As far as arm, like the arm, I thought the arm was complicated at first, but the maintenance is actually kind of easy. Once you read the manual, imagine that. Once you read the manual for that arm, it's pretty easy to use, pretty easy to maintain, keep it greased. The trick is, what is it like after months or years? That new way, we had 2 pack cylinders replaced under warranty because they started leaking the hydraulic fluid. Not bad, they're like slow drips, but they did leak, and we weren't quite sure like why they failed, but we pissed a lot of people off. Went from take all rear load to cart system. Yeah, yeah. I mean, same. We did the same. You described exactly our scenario. It was a take all rear load to a cart system with automated. And the thing was, we have another hauler in town that we compete against, and they're still a rear load operation. So when we went to automated, and we covered this in a podcast over a year ago, when we went to automation, there was a lot of concern about, man, you're going to make people use carts, put stuff in the carts, and then you're going to charge for trash that's on the ground that doesn't fit in the cart. And I was kind of I'll be the bad guy. I was kind of the one that pushed that, where I'm like, you have to charge for trash on the ground. If you're going to be an automated operation, you have to charge for trash on the ground. We can let them leave the lids open. We'll let them tower it up in waffle cones and Jengas. But if you're not charging for trash on the ground, people aren't going to use the carts, because there'd be times I would get out to put trash in a cart and only be half to 3/4 full. And once they found out, like, oh, the trash has to go in the cart, people got really good at using carts. Like, once they're incentivized to use it, they get better about getting trash to fit. Like, they actually start breaking down cardboard boxes. And we offer recycle. I always say that. We offer recycle, but we can't make people take it. We do have people take a second can. 1 can per house, overflow stickers, and call for bulk pickup. Now just extra steps the residents have to take now, but it takes time to get these people on board. Yes, that's true. Unless you pay for a second can, which we offer that as well. That helps a lot. So yeah, I mean, like I said, we're going to be doing some other changes at Sanitation too, where it's going to be, it's going to be some commercial stuff that we're going to be changing, and it's going to be it'll be a doozy. It'll be interesting content. I won't say what it is yet, but I will say once I start making content for it, you guys it'll be a different story. I'll have to do some better storytelling. Like, I'm the only one on camera. Maybe I'll ask people watching, and I don't know how many people are watching. I'm kind of just talking to myself at this point. But if other people were on camera, other employees, because Mitchell, he's been in the podcast. Casey runs the office, but he can also drive routes. He's been on the podcast before. Those 2 guys have been, there's 3 of us that have been like the cornerstones since we went automated. Me, Mitchell, and Casey. We have another guy we've hired. He seems to be hanging out and doing all right. I don't check in with him too much. He had one hard day that I would try to shave a couple stops off the end of his route just to kind of help him, ease into that adjustment period. Add other people in the content, maybe that'd be more engaging. Have them provide some feedback. Like, once we start going through some changes, getting their insight, that dialogue could be interesting. I had that guy riding with me during the ZR demo, Gannon, and that seemed to help make the content a little easier when you have someone actually to have a dialogue with. Oh, did we lose it? Oh boy. I think we're losing the stream. Well, we'll just end it. How about that? Huh. That's too bad. Let's see. I'll answer this last question and probably end the stream. Yeah, it's giving me some, and it shouldn't be slow. I got a pretty good upload speed, but anyway, there'll be some changes as far as not necessarily front load or roll off, but there'll be some stuff going on with commercial. Yeah, shoot, yep. We'll have to end it. Looked at Revamp by No, I haven't looked at